How did the Homesteaders feel about the Snake River Land Company? When did they find out it was Rockefeller? The majority of people today agree that the aspirations of the Snake River Land Company had a positive impact on Jackson Hole. In 1930, when Rockefeller announced his involvement behind the company and his eventual plans for an expansion to Grand Teton National Park, locals felt betrayed and offended. They had worked hard to improve upon their 160-acre homestead plots, and their value was held in their buildings and cultivated lands. To have their buildings razed and lands given back to the federal government after working hard felt like an insult. Many thought they were given a poor sale price once they found out a Rockefeller held the company's purse strings. Rumors spread like wildfire, and by 1933 the situation had worsened. The United States Senate enacted subcommittee hearings to determine the legality behind the purchases and intentions of the company. After extensive deliberation, it was found that no wrongdoing had occurred. The locals were so embittered towards the Snake River Land Company that it was rebranded as the Jackson Hole Preserve Incorporated in 1940 to distance themselves from the ordeal. I saw you mention Mormon Row. Were there more churches or saloons? Although there was a large community of Mormons in Jackson and in South Park in the 1890s, the early Mormon churches were joined by an Episcopal church in Jackson and in Kelly in the 1910s. Other denominations existed in the valley, but traveling preachers came every few months and services would be held in someone's home or public meeting space. As needs grew and finances allowed, new churches would be built to establish permanent locations. There were a couple of early saloons in Jackson. The most prominent still exists today, the $1 Million Cowboy Bar, originally known as Ruby's Saloon in 1937. Local legend says that Ruby was told to leave town after an argument broke out and he shot a patron. He wasn't charged for murder because it was agreed that the patron had caused the altercation. Later that year, Ben Go purchased the building and opened the Cowboy Bar. Originally clad in white clapboard, it held a low profile on the town square while it hosted gambling, illegal in Wyoming. In 1953, after a gas explosion in the basement destroyed much of the building, it was rebuilt to its present appearance, and the neon sign was added. The now famous saddle bar stools were added in 1973. What was the first homestead settlement in Jackson like? The first permanent homesteaders arrived in the 1880s. They were individuals who built modest cabins. The first community was South Park, built by the extended Wilson families. They were the first to carve out a path that became a road on Teton Pass, the first to establish a school district, and the first church. They acquired their land through the Homesteading Act of 1862. The act required settlers to live on their land for at least 5 years, spending no more than 6 months away, cultivate a minimum of 10 acres, and build a structure larger than 12 foot by 14 foot. After a filing fee of $10 to $15, they would receive their 160-acre plot outright. How did the Tetons get so tall? The Tetons have a dominating presence over Jackson Hole, notable for their appearance of jutting abruptly out of the valley. This is a typical basin and range feature, a type of formation found where compression from the Rocky Mountain Formation is now relaxing. This relaxing pressure creates north-south running stretch marks across the west. These ranges and basins typically run north-south and sit along a large fault. In Jackson, the Tetons and the valley sit atop two plates pulling away from each other on an east-west orientation. As the fault opens up, the denser of the two plates, the valley, falls down, and the Tetons on the other side remain in place while being tilted or pushed up slightly from pressure on their western faces. While the visible movement from this formation results in 7,000 feet of elevation gain from the valley floor to the top of the Grand Teton, the fault formation actually extends down several miles below the valley surface. Thousands of feet of glacier outwash, till, and debris fills the space between our feet and the buried rock layers that were once even with the top of Grand Teton.